everyone, this is Julia, and today we're going to be talking about toxic friends. How do you know if the person around you is actually for you? Stay tuned and we'll figure it out together. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. I think we can all agree that friends are really important. They set the culture and the tone for our lives. And if we surround ourselves with good people, we can end up going to some great places. But if we surround ourselves with the wrong people, we could really destroy our lives. And I discovered this the hard way, and I'm sure that all of you have discovered this because that's just what life is about. We learn these things as we go along. But as I've gotten older, I really have become more selective about the people that I surround myself with. And I'm not saying that every person that I've moved on from was a horrible person, but I do believe that if we're intentional with the kind of characters and the qualities that we want to develop, when we are around people that aren't intentional, that really don't care to grow in these areas, they can really hold us back. So it's important to just focus on what you really want and go for those things and surround yourself with people who have that same growth mindset. I want you to think about that one friendship that has you questioning your value. You know what I'm talking about. Every single time you get around this one person, your mind starts to go around in circles and you start to wonder, do I even matter? Does what my opinion matter? Am I a nuisance? You just get this feeling that you don't belong and that you need to do something more or be something else to actually be of value. I want you to ask yourself, does this person put down your goals and your dreams? Even in a joking way, are they constantly taking what you value and turning it into a joke? Do they nurture you growing into your best self? Do they value your offerings and your time? In my 48 years, I've had many relationships and many friendships that I wish worked out that didn't. But I can look back and see why they didn't. It's because a lot of times our base values were really off. And I am a very open-minded, open-hearted person. I think the more the merrier. I actually prefer to have people around me that think differently than me. I don't have to be of the same political persuasion to get along with someone. I like men, I like women, I like kids, I like old people. So to me, I don't really see friends in this really small category. I don't believe that Christians should just hang around Christians. I actually think that makes us smaller. I think that doesn't allow us to influence the world. And it also just creates a small mindset. We just can't grow as people if we think that small. So I prefer to be around a variety of people. And in the course of choosing a variety of people, a lot of those people don't choose you back. So friendship, it goes two ways. It's not only you being and feeling connected to a person, but also allowing them to feel and be connected to you back. There's a little dance in friendship, and most people don't really stop to think about that there's a give and there's a take, that you can't always be the giver. You sometimes have to be the receiver, and there is a flow of relationships. Sometimes that person will need to share all their burdens and talk with you. They're going through a really rough time, but sometimes you're going to need that. If you're always that person for someone and they're not available for you that way, I think it's really important to pay attention to the people that are reciprocal. We're going to be talking about signs of a bad friend. Number 1, they gossip behind your back. Number 2, they put down your dreams. Number 3, they derail your goals. Say you're trying to go on a diet and you say, I just want to watch my carbs. Can you help me out? And they just sabotage you. You go out to eat and they make sure that the bread basket is thrown in your face or whatever. They're just a sabotager. They disrespect your time. They can cancel last minute, or they ditch your plans for something that's a little more exciting. They compete with you. They expect you to be there for them, but they are not there for you when you need them. They do not celebrate your wins. They can't be happy for you. They use you. Interacting with them makes you feel worse, not better. They aren't generous. You carry the weight of the friendship. Generosity can show up in different ways. It's not just they're always expecting you to pay for the meal or whatever. It also could be generous with their time, or generous with their listening ear, generous with their heart. Generous means just the fact that they are pouring out on you as well as you pouring out on them. They don't follow through on their words or their promises. They seem annoyed by your presence. They seem very agitated by any success that you have. When the novelty of newness wears off, so does their interest in your friendship. These are just signs of a bad friend. I just wanted you to have a mental note that if you are ticking a lot of those boxes, that person probably, most likely, isn't for you. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person, but they're just not as interested in you as you are in them. And at the end of the day, I think that's a hard pass because you don't want to pour out more energy than you're getting back. And it really needs to have that beautiful flow. That's what a real, genuine friendship is. Your time is worth something. Your efforts and your care and your love and your compassion is worth something. So if you're constantly pouring it out on someone that's not appreciative of it, it's going to affect your self-esteem. In fact, that's what it did for me. I felt like I was never good enough, and I didn't know why I felt that. It's because I wasn't getting the respect from the people around me. And once I cut off those friendships, and even if it was just living alone without friends for a while, sometimes it's really good to just get alone with God. Let Him repair that damaged self-worth. Read the Word and soak up on His presence, because honestly, for me, God was my friend during a really dark season when I had no friends. He was my only friend. And it was such a beautiful time. It was when He began to whisper my worth. He began to show me my value. And as I ventured out and began to meet new people, I had a different standard of what I required. It wasn't just that I got along with the person or I thought they were funny or interesting. They had to have certain things about them that would allow me to think of them like a friend. So I tend to think of everybody that I meet as a potential friend. And it's wonderful to think those thoughts, but there should be a level of allowing them into your heart. This is kind of interesting. The Lord showed me in the Old Testament, they had what was called the tabernacle. And outside the tabernacle was the outer court. And then there was the inner court. And then there was the Holy of Holies. So the outer court was just generally for the Jewish people. The inner court was for those who were making sacrifices. And then the Holy of Holies was for the priest, the high priest. There was only a few people that were allowed in that place. And the Lord showed me, Julia, you let everyone into your Holy of Holies. If you think of them as a friend, you let them right into the most intimate parts of your heart. And that is only reserved for very few people. So I want you instead, still you can think of everyone as your friend, but they need to stay in the outer court until they've proven themselves worthy of being in your inner court. And then after time, if they have stayed the test of time, if they have proven themselves, if they're reciprocal, if they've met a lot of these things that nurture your heart. I'm not saying these people have to be perfect, but they have to have a heart for you. Then those people are in your Holy of Holies, those select friends. So there would be like one or two people in the Holy of Holies. Since I've heard that from the Lord, I began to look at friendships very differently. And I honor and respect whatever level I know this person, that it's okay. I don't need to push somebody who's in the outer court to be in my inner court, even if I want them to. To force that would be unnatural. To force that would also not allow that person to make the choice too. Because I believe that everybody in your Holy of Holy type of friendships, it needs to be a choice for both of you. You can't just put someone in the Holy of Holies when they really don't want to be there. This is about honoring where you both stand in the relationship. And that comes with communication, and that comes with time. Let's say you've noticed that you're just not attracting a lot of good people, that you're checking a lot of these boxes and you realize, holy cow, I really don't have a lot of friends who are for me. I've got an action plan for you. This is what you should do to attract the tribe of people that are for you. Number one, define the kind of friendships you want. What do you want? Do you want friends that are fun? Friends that can talk about really deep things? friends that are very private and will hold what you say to them very sacred and not share it with anybody else. What do you value in your friendships? And ask for those things specifically. I suggest journaling about what is important to you. As you journal about these things, I want you to think about the kind of people you want to attract. Do you want to attract people that are in a healthy lifestyle? Maybe that's part of your goals. You want to have a tribe that are healthy. Well, that means you're probably going to have to up your health game. If you're slacking in that area, you might want to do something to fit into the crowd of people that you want to get along with. Sometimes we have all these high requirements, but to be honest, we're not willing to do the work to actually fit in with the people that we are asking for. So I think it's important to not only ask for wonderful things, but do a personal assessment and say, how am I doing in this area? For these kind of people, am I the kind of person that will attract that type of friend? Or do I need to work on myself a little bit? These are the great questions, because if we know what we're lacking in, we know what to work on. So don't get scared by this exercise. I think this exercise really helps us to get real with where we're at. If you're looking for a friend that goes deep, are you a good listener? If you want people to listen to you, are you actually listening and asking good questions back? Or do you ask about the things that are important to them? If you find yourself lacking in character or follow through, to just hone in and see, I need to work on these things. Make yourself accountable for the things that you want in life. That if you know that you're lacking in this area, it's really good to do the work so you can have what you're going for. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly. Proverbs 18:24. So number 3 is learn to be vulnerable. Do you long for deeper friendships, but you're just not willing to go deep yourself? True friendships require authenticity and vulnerability. A long time ago, I had a girlfriend that I loved. I cared about her. I've known her since I was 19, and she was kind of there for me when I didn't really have a family. And I was interested in her. I wanted to know how she grew up. I wanted to know her story. I wanted to know what made her tick. I wanted to know what kind of guys she liked. And every single time I would ask any kind of question, I would be met with so much resistance that it made me uncomfortable. She would be like, well, why do you want to know? So, like, what are you going to do? Write a book report on me? And it felt so jarring when my heart was open and honest and wanting to learn about her. I wasn't trying to learn about her to get dirt on her. I was trying to learn about her because I loved her and I considered her a friend, and I wanted to have a deeper connection with her. And unfortunately, she didn't want that with me. She just wasn't interested in that kind of friendship. And so it took me years to discover that no matter what I did, there was no getting to know someone who didn't love me the way that I loved them. And it wasn't reciprocal. And it was kind of like hugging a rock. You know, after a while, it just gets so frustrating. You just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I think it's really important to communicate what you're looking to give and to receive in a friendship, just to have that communication be open, allowing others the autonomy of choosing us back. I've mentioned this earlier, that you can't just chase a friend. They have to want to be there with you. So getting real and understanding, maybe this isn't my person, and I just hold my energy in myself, work on myself, and maybe put energy in a new person as they come down the road, but not trying to force a fit. I just want to encourage you, if you're in a season of looking for new friends, to be patient with yourself and with other people. It takes time to develop trust and to learn about other people's character. So give yourself grace and patience, and give others the grace and patience they need, because we're all imperfect people trying to get along. So I want to end with a prayer for healthy friendships. Lord, thank you for the good friends who have sown into my life. For every person I have not honored, help me to right this wrong and rectify our connection. I will no longer use being young and foolish for an excuse. Thank you for modeling patience, kindness, grace, and compassion. Help me to remain generous and sensitive towards those you've called me to. Help me not to accept disrespect, as this is a sign of envy, strife, and control. I will not bow to manipulation masked as friendship, for this is a poison that kills slowly. Flush out the friends who do not support the best in me, and open my heart and eyes to recognize the friendships that are life-giving and reciprocal. In Jesus' name, and for all he's doing through me, amen. The Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. Of course, I'm always going to recommend this. If you aren't healthy, relationally healthy, invest in therapy, because you don't want to burden your friendships in a way where your friendship doesn't even have room to breathe or survive. If you're not getting the support you need from your friendships, then ask God to give you the strength to just let it go, because this is only going to open you up to new and better fits. You almost have to leave a vacuum, because we're so limited in our time in life that we only have 24 hours a day. We can't have a million friendships. It takes time to develop these things. So if you let go of the people that don't work for you, you open up a vacuum for people who are right for you. And I have gone through many seasons in my life where my heart has been broken by friendships that just haven't worked out. I've tried, I've prayed, I've cried, and then I had to just let them go. And God really did truly supply all of my needs. He gave me friends that were a better fit for me. And I blessed all the people that I had to let go, because they actually needed someone that was a better fit for them too. And that's just how life works. I want to end with this verse. I thought it was really good. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye pearls before swine, lest they trample them under your feet and turn again and rend you. Matthew 7:6. So that verse just shows you that some people will never appreciate the gold that's in you. And it's important to save that gold for someone that will cherish it. We are supposed to be engaged in real life, in real memories, in real time. And so I don't want you to waste your life away behind a computer and not experience the joy and the sorrow of finding friends and figuring things out with other people. I am so thankful that I have this wonderful community of people. I'm so thankful for you guys sharing my videos and slowly growing this tiny little channel. It really means a lot to me, and I am so glad to consider you all my friend. So take care, friends, and I will talk to you in the comments below. So don't be shy. Bye.